Oh, you're right, it does.
Caveman over it? Question mark.
How did I blink?
It's time.
Nice
Love it when the
job.
Mercy flanks the frickin' McCree.
Thanks.
Let's go, boy. Let's go.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you enjoyed the beginning clip. I just want to introduce myself first. My name is Prevail. Some of my friends call me BV, and this is my Mercy Guide tutorial for console. A little background about myself. I started playing Overwatch towards the end of Season 2, and I main 3 heroes. I main Mercy, Ryan, and Zen. Huge shout out to the special someone who actually taught me how to play those heroes. And because of it, I actually made top 500 during Season 4. As you can see, I spent a lot of time using Mercy this season, so I'm hoping that I will able to teach you a thing or two about her. Season 4 was pretty rough for solo queuing in general, and so I've actually wanted to share with you my experience along the way. I also want to share with you some of the tips and alternative methods that I've picked up as well. And to do so, I've actually want to cover 3 topics. One, I want to cover my settings that I use for Mercy. Second, I want to cover her mobility. And third, I want to cover her usage for her res. Now, there's a lot more you can actually cover with Mercy, but for the sake of the length of the video, I just wanted to cover these 3 things just so they're an overview so you can get a general idea of who is Mercy and how to use her. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is my settings. So I'm going to pop it up and you guys could just pause the video and look at it for yourself. A lot of it is pretty basic. I pretty much play on default just with some minor alterations. So for this one, like I play on 100 sensitivity and I dropped aim smoothing down to 10. And the reason I did that was because I'm more of a player that likes to play mobile. I don't like to play Battle Mercy a lot, you know, so I'm always evading. I always have to snap on. That's what aim smoothing allows. It allows for that quick snap on, if that makes sense. And when I mean by snap on, I just mean like just say you're getting shot by an enemy. You have to be quick to react and fly away just so you can stay alive as much as possible. And because that she's using her staff a lot more than her pistol, you don't really need that much tracking. So that's another reason why I prefer having a lower aim smoothing. Okay, so as for my control settings, it's all pretty much default except with one change, and that's the next or previous weapon. They're both the same thing, but instead of pressing right on the D-pad, I actually have it to where you click L3. And the reason I have it because my thumb is already on it, so it's way much easier and I don't have to move it. Plus it's nice to finish them off with a little bop in the head, just because they thought. Okay, so for the last part of my settings is the hero settings. Now, in my opinion, I believe that this is the most important one, because there's a lot of different combinations you can do, and it's basically based off your preference, and this is the ones I prefer using. And the reason why I prefer using it, like for the toggle beam connection being off, is because I constantly like having my finger on the trigger. And as for the next two, I find it best that I just show you the difference instead of telling you why and kind of repeating myself. So I'm going to show you the difference between both of them right now. Okay, in this side-by-side comparison, you're going to see the difference between Guardian Angel prefers beam target on and off. On the left, it is on, and on the right, it is off. As you can tell, that the difference is between them is that the left allows you to fly through objects, while the one on the right doesn't.
I'm taking care of you.
Although this looks nice, there's something that you must know. Having it on means that whoever the beam is latched onto, that's the person you're going to fly to, compared to it being off, where you could fly to whomever you please, regardless of who the beam is latched onto. Okay, so now we're going to look at Toggle Guardian Angel. On the left, it is off, and on the right, it is on. One of the main differences between these two is that when it's off, the moment you release the button, it'll stop you where you're at. Compared to the one on the right, where you have to press it again in order for it to stop. Otherwise, it'll just fly you all the way to your target.
Maintaining connection.
This is an example as to why I have the settings the way I do, and so you'll get to see kind of how it is. But there is an alternative method to this, and I'll share with you that at the end of the clip, but for now, enjoy.
Genji's absolute.
Genji's low as fuck.
Got him.
Dude.
I'm taking care of you. I'm being attacked.
Ah, Roadhog creep. Nice. Ready to go, Roadhog?
I'm here. There they are.
Now, before I get onto the alternative method, I just want to share with you the reason why I actually prefer this one. And you may have not seen it in this clip, but hopefully you'll see it in future clips as the video goes on. But the main reason I actually like it is because when I fly to a new target, I like to turn around and heal the old target I'm flying away from just to ensure they have as much health as possible. It also allows me to actually turn around and get a view of the map in a more broader spectrum compared to more of a limited field. Okay, so the alternative method involves you going back to your settings and changing the beam connection to on, and Guardian Angel prefers beam target to off. What this essentially will allow you to do is you are able to fly to your new target without having to turn around and heal your old target, since the beam connection is still latched onto the old target. He's gonna drop down. Okay, so now we're gonna discuss Mercy's mobility. So this involves her evading methods. This also involves her finding ways to stay alive as much as possible. So as a Mercy player, one of your main jobs is to stay alive as much as possible. And this all depends on the map. So if you're in a map where it's more open and there's less cover to hide behind, you want to fly around a lot more. But if it's more of a smaller map like this one, where there's a lot of buildings and environment you can actually hide behind, that's what you want to do, because you want to stay out of the enemy line of sight as much as possible. So in this clip, you're going to actually see me use the building as cover as the diva is essentially trying to kill me. But little does the diva know, my Ryan is also there and he's actually trying to get her out of mech. But using the wall as cover, I'm able to actually evade diva and get away to safety, as my Ryan is able to actually get her out of mech and secure the kill. Hello, man. I knew it. Come on.
Tactical visor activated. Sweet.
Heroes never die. Get you back out there.
In this clip, you're actually going to see an example of me using that pillar in the middle to stay out of enemy line of sight. But you're also going to see me fly around and just to use that Guardian Angel ability. And one of the things to keep in mind is that it doesn't have to look pretty. You know, it could look like a dying duck, but as long as it gets the job done, which is for you to stay alive.
Drop down.
I'm taking care of you.
Oh, yes, healing.
Not good.
Moving out of solo.
Watch your backsides.
I killed two.
You needed a doctor?
This Roadhog just jumped out.
I am claiming the objective.
Yeah, that's a good switch.
I see the Mercy too.
Oh, damn it.
I'll have you die. In this example, we're going to look at a scenario where there isn't a lot of cover to hide behind. And you may think there is, but the way that this King of the Hill map works, especially since the point is like right there in the open, it's important for you to actually fly around, especially since the whole team, that's where a majority of the battle is going to take place. So one of the things I actually tell a lot of people who want to play Mercy is don't be afraid to abuse that Guardian Angel ability. Just because that 2-second cooldown is so vital and it comes so quick that it's just like you'll be using it every time.
Heroes never die.
Oh shit, they took me out. And my
I saw
ult.
that.
I'm capturing.
Hold on, I want to die right now.
I'm on fire.
Did you get her? Nice, nice, nice.
Drop the beat.
One important thing to mention is that when you're flying around, you want to give yourself as much space away from your teammate as possible, but still be within range to actually heal them. And that's only because you don't want to be caught in the crossfires when they're actually getting hit, or when an ult's going in, such as a graviton or a hammer down. And as you can see in this clip, my best bet was to stay inside or to go inside, but there was a Genji who was in his ult inside, so I had to stay out. And in the end, I died, but I did get myself space, so I'm hoping that you get a general idea as to what I mean by give yourself space.
Let me get you patched up. I'm here.
The iris.
Cease your resistance.
Tactical visor activated.
Now we're going to come to the part where we talk about reses. And honestly, this is the biggest part that it can go on. It could be its own separate video, but I'm just going to give an overview of it. So what are good reses, what are bad reses, when you should hold on to it, when you should use it, what to look out for, things like that. Now keep in mind that my reses are still booty even to this day. It's even funny because I still get called out on it a lot, so I have yet to master it. But one of the things I always tell people when it comes to resing is that it's all about probability. So the best way to think of it is as if you're playing a card game, and just because you have a high probability of winning doesn't mean you're always going to win. Now looking at this example, you could see that a person on the left has already died first. And when you're about to res, one of the things that most likely will happen is that your res will revolve around that one person who died. And now it's important for you to keep in mind where the other teammates have died as well. Hopefully they die as close to the first guy as possible. But if not, then you just want to keep a lookout just so you can know the range within your res. But your res will be based off that timer. And usually what I like to do is I always like to look around the map, see who dies, but my eyes will always go back to the person who first died. And just when their timer is about to respawn, that's when I usually go in for the res.
I will shield. Your shield generator has been destroyed. Till Valhalla. I'm taking care of you. Damage boost engaged.
Into the iris.
Cease your resistance.
Now, a question that gets asked a lot is when you should expect a res. And to answer that, the best time you should expect to res is when the enemy teammates are either really aggressive or they are popping ults. And in this example, they are popping ults. But as you can see on our right, we have our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And he doesn't look so happy. So instead of waiting for us to wait for the rest of the teammates to die, I think it's best that we just try to get away from him as much as possible.
Till Valhalla. Helden sterben nicht.
Tactical visor activated.
Not good. You should be at peak performance levels.
Fighting.
So we ended up winning the team fight. And one of the questions that I get asked a lot is if there's such thing as a bad res. And for a long time, I would tell people no, just because the res is based off of what you think is best. And that's still the case, but then something happened, and well, you'll see.
What the fuck?
Mercy, really?
Grind
Yeah.
down.
Yep, I got him.
Oh god. I'm out of here, bro.
Oh
Professional.
my god.
I need some heals.
Heroes never die.
Because I have my ult to come
Are
out the
these
stairs.
two
Rip! I'm so sorry.
Me into that shit. I'm so done. You fucking. Oh,
Okay, I was okay. Okay, I can explain. Okay, I can explain.
Funny thing is that I never got a chance to explain myself. But essentially, there is such thing as a bad res, and that's something that I want to share with you with future examples in these future clips, and I'll explain why. And just in case for those who are curious,
Stick with me.
well, she did end up getting me back.
Heroes never die.
No, what? Why would you know? No.
What
What?
happened was I res and then
Mhm. Did you guys see that? Please.
Feels bad.
Гонь по готовности.
Alright, we have mercy res.
Well. Looks like this is every Mercy's dream right here. To get the 5-man res. Not only to get the play of the game because of it, but because getting that 5-man res will ensure that your team wins the fight. Well, I'm not sure if you paid attention to the beginning of the clip, but our teammates got no picks, and their enemy team just used their Zarya ult. So, spoiler alert, when I res them, we end up losing the fight and end up losing the match.
30 seconds. Heroes never die.
Behind you guys, there's, I don't know who that is.
Zarya, no. Oh, I got him. Rest in peace. I saved you, I guess.
I'm taking care of you.
Fuck, bro. That was the easy.
We honestly should have won that team fight, but it didn't happen. And that's why I said that rezzing is such a broad topic to discuss, just because there's so much to go into that it could be its own separate video. Now, it's very important to keep in mind that a 5-man res is much as a game changer as a single-man res. It all depends on the circumstances and who has their ults. It's something that I plan to make a future video on, just to go more in depth of what I mean. But for the sake of the length of this video, I just want to give you an overview as to what are res is and what are essential good and bad resing.
You need a vessel.
Into the iris. Objective is under attack. Tactical visor activated.
Now here's an example of a bad res. In this clip, our teammates were able to clear out most of the enemy team, and we just used 2 ults just to kind of get the team kill. Little did I know, it also cost 2 of our teammates' lives. Now, I could have held on to that res, but I chose to res instead. And spoiler alert, we ended up losing that fight because the teammates were actually able to regroup and get their final push. The reason I said that was a bad res is because we were able to secure the team kill, but 2 of our teammates died as well. So if anything, both parties have to respawn. And by the time that the enemy team has to regroup, most likely our 2 teammates that died would have regrouped with us as well. And I would have still been able to have my res. So if the enemy team were to make their final push, which they did, I would have still had that available. But I didn't, and they were able to make that final push, and we lost.
Resistance neutralized.
Your support to Valhalla.
That res was totally unnecessary.
Gotcha.
Damage in.
Okay, so one more thing I wanted to mention. I only use this for King of the Hill maps, but if we don't have a Lucio on our team, what I like to do is I like to switch to Lucio just to give our team the initial speed boost, and then I'll quickly swap over to Mercy, and then I'll be able just to fly to them. It's a great way for your teammates to actually get the same momentum and push as if the opposite team had a Lucio as well. That way you can actually engage the fight a lot sooner and probably get even an advantage on it.
Didn't even say anything. I like that. I mean, hopefully it doesn't take that long to reset. I guess it'd go change the fuse box or something.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Capture the objective.
I'll be watching over you.
Round.
Thank you everyone for sticking to the end of this video. That's pretty much it for now. I just wanted to give a basic overview of who Mercy is and kind of her everyday usage. I know there's a lot more you can actually further expand upon this, and that's something that I plan to do in the future. By this, I mean I would like to further expand on topics such as Mercy's pistol usage, how to do pharmacy, and when you should damage boost someone, when you should heal them, things like that. If you have any suggestions on what you would like to see or discuss, please let me know in the comments down below. Or if you would like me to further expand on any topics that I discussed today. I know that there was more of a general thing, but if you would like me to go more in depth, I could do that as well, and I'll make a separate video for that.
Yeah, you got her out of mech, that's all that
But for
matters.
now, I'll leave you off on a little joke, and that is, what is the difference between a good Pharah and a great one?
Extra sneaky.
Mercy.
Oh yeah, look at this. Bam. Bam. Bam.